Hello, my name's David Highland. Welcome to the final phase of my final project, Phase 3. Um, this is for game scripting class over at University of Advancing Technology. So I ended up doing a few things to my level, such as adding in more assets and adding in some new scripting into my stages here, as well as a few matinees here and there. So let's get started. Also, forgive me for the lighting, even though it does feel a little bit dark and it may hurt the audience's eyes, but bear with me because I'm only going to go in a linear path here. And I've managed to light almost a few spaces here so that you get to see what I'm doing here. So, uh, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I ended up doing is adding in a little opening scene where I had a matinee and controlled the director's camera to zoom in on the players, like so. Now, a few assets I ended up doing is, let's say I press E for this. Right, so that was pretty much intentional that I ended up sinking a boat here. Oh man, look at it go. Usually it just sinks whenever it hits that dock there, but I guess that's a first. So I'll run up, greeted by the commander here with a little dialogue in the top left corner here. Now, like before, I can have her follow me by pressing the Q button right here. Ended up increasing the knock volume for everywhere. Everywhere. I also added in a bit of instructions here for this. So all I need to do is touch the torch and I get respawn. Now, there's a lot of little guys like roaming around here. Ooh, I think you can barely see them, but that a few of these guys tend to run away from me, and a few others would like try to come up to me and ask for some change here. So let's go ahead and visit the blacksmith here. Okay, so you know what? I know you can't see, and that's all because of the lighting around here. However, I added in like a little particle effect, so whenever the player gets close to the area, it starts lighting up. Press E. Blacksmith is obviously pissed at us. So, we'll go over here. Oh, uh, where's our commander? Ah, there she is. Guess she got stuck. So, another thing I ended up doing is adding a little store clerk.
Bye, have a great time.
So, you see, he doesn't have anything in stock, so we'll just go ahead and get back out.
Bye, have a great time.
So, yeah, I had it reconfigured to where every time you leave the little area in there, the one that opens up and closes the door, it automatically sets off that little goodbye dialogue. Sometimes these guys would, like the AI characters, would go around and start hitting the collision box instead, and it would still activate the character. So I had a little trouble with that. Um, Also, I made these damaging spikes so in case the players gets too close, they take damage. What I added here is a little warp point, but really it's more like going off to a new collision. So, or not new collision, new possession of a character. So I go like this, and I can warp back. It's more like I'm using a different character instead. So this is more like my second person running around. Oh, also, I forgot to mention. I should have at least put up a guard here, which warns people of traps. So in case you're stupid enough to step on these things, that's what happens. So yeah, basically that isn't what I had in mind, but okay. Also, I had this little elevator thing go up. There was noise for this, but for some reason it just files were corrupted, so it didn't really go through. You can see I had this little view going on here. So here's our commander right here. You hear a little dialogue. Now he wants us to take a look over there. Um, I guess it's not showing up. So one of the problems I had with this is more like every time I'm running a script, the other one gets sets off without my permission. So I have to go back and reconfigure each script, making sure that it didn't go off as soon as the other script going on. And that was like one of the hardest part about this making a file or making this level here is that I tried to connect each blueprint with each other, but instead it wouldn't read. So I had to separate each one. So we'll go ahead and look over at the scene. Hey, so you know what? With this one, I actually had done a few runs, and every time the physic sets on, the commander would actually fall forward here. So I had to get rid of like the blocking collision that was right there, and he finally somewhat fell over the cliff, and I had like the rock go along with it. So yeah, now the commander is dead, and that's pretty much it for as far as like a scene telling. I had a little bit more, but for some reason files kept on getting corrupted here, so I'll go ahead and stop with my little story script here. But the main point is after the commander dies, you're running back to the war point, and then there's a little flip trigger which you'll see all these little red lights here, and a few more particles where the whole area is on fire. Once again, I couldn't really do any more because it just kept crashing each time I added in a particle effect. So I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of what I have running for scripts here. So the first part, this one's one of my favorites, was a little scene with the death of the commander here. I actually had to run a little bit of imported sounds and little particles effects, as well as sets the physic motion for the characters that I needed moved. Of course, that's when the little trigger event goes out. Other offense is a little blacksmith area. You know what? So I'll go on unlit here so everyone can see what it's like. So basically you have little villagers running around here. Got a few goblins or beggars. And you also got a little fountain area with a few interactive characters here. Also, here's a bar area where you're greeted by one of the bartenders. She wants you to move the box over to that area, and all that is a little thank you. And then you got a little bit of object interactivity where I had to build a matinee in which as soon as the player presses E on it, it automatically plays it. Where you hear the line snap, and then that's when the boat starts going into a physical motion. So that's about it. Most of these assets that I've been using is all based on the Infinity Blades. I had to download some more. Mainly from most of this is from the Grasslands, but then like the Forgery and a little bit of the bridge here, that one is from the Firelands here. And the characters are from the Mixamo pack, so they're all free assets that you can get from Unreal Engine. Whereas a few of these things, like these huts here and those ships, I ended up downloading them all from TurboSquid. And that's about it. Honestly, it's not really too much interactivity going on here because of a few certain crashes. But if I had a little bit more time to fix up these blueprints, it would honestly be a really good stage. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed my video.